If you've been scrolling through endless shredder listings, watching YouTube unbox after unbox, and still can't decide which machine actually earns its price tag, this review is meant to settle the confusion. I've spent the last few weeks testing a handful of office-grade shredders in a small home office, a shared co-working space, and even a community volunteer center that processes the steady stream of donation paperwork. The goal was to see which model can handle real-world pressure without turning every shred into a jam-filled nightmare. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. What I keep hearing from people on forums and in the comments is the same fear. I need a shredder that can take a stack of documents, not choke on the first few sheets, and stay safe around kids or curious coworkers. That's the exact problem the Fellows Powershred 485i tries to solve. It advertises a 38 sheet capacity per pass, a continuous duty motor, and something they call 100% jam-proof. In practice, the machine's real test is how it behaves when you toss in a mixed batch of printer paper, a few glossy flyers, and maybe a stray staple. First, let's talk about the workflow that matters most. In my home office, I usually pull together a month's worth of bank statements, tax forms, and old client proposals. That adds up to about 30 sheets, sometimes a few more if I'm cleaning out my inbox. The Powershred 485i lets me feed that whole stack at once. The strip cut output long, 7/32 ribbons means the paper is still readable if you look at it, but it's shredded enough to meet a P2 security level, which is sufficient for most personal and small business data protection needs. For anyone who's required to destroy confidential client files, but doesn't need the ultra-high security of crosscut shredders, this is a sweet spot. You get a shred that's legal grade, yet the ribbons are easy to dispose of in a regular recycling bin. One of the biggest concerns with any heavy-duty shredder is the dreaded jam. I deliberately fed the 485i a stack that included a few glossy flyers from a local event and a handful of stapled pages. The continuous duty motor kept humming, and the built-in jam-proof system automatically cleared the paper path without me having to pull anything out manually. The sensor detected the jammed piece, reversed the rollers briefly, and resumed shredding. That hands-free recovery saved me from the usual frustration of stopping mid-job, hunting for that tiny paper bit stuck inside the gears, and risking damage to the machine. If you run a small non-profit that pulls in donation forms daily, that reliability is worth the extra few dollars over a consumer-grade shredder. Safety is another angle that's easy to overlook until it becomes a problem. The SafeSense technology stops the shredder the moment it senses fingers at the entry slot. During my testing, I accidentally brushed my hand across the opening while loading a thick stack. The motor halted instantly, and the sensor stayed engaged until I pulled my hand away. That feature alone makes the Powershred 485i a decent choice for shared spaces where kids or interns might be around. It gives you peace of mind without needing an extra safety guard that can be cumbersome to remove when you actually need to shred quickly. Now, let's weigh the practical strengths against the weaknesses you'll notice after a few weeks of use. On the upside, the 35-gallon removable corrugate basket is a game-changer for anyone who shreds a lot. It's large enough to hold several full bins of shredded ribbons, and the LED indicator glows when it's near capacity, so you never get a surprise bin full message mid-run. Because the basket is made of corrugated cardboard rather than plastic, it's lighter to pull out for emptying, which matters if you're shuffling it into a recycling bin every day. The machine's TAA compliance also means it's cleared for use in government offices A+ if you're a contractor or work in a secure environment where that certification is required. On the downside, the strip-cut design, while efficient for volume, does leave long ribbons that can be a nuisance if you need to dispose of them in a regular office shredder that only accepts small bundles. Some users who need truly unreadable fragments like lawyers handling highly sensitive case files might find the P2 strip cut insufficient, and would be better off with a crosscut or microcut shredder. Additionally, the 38 sheet capacity per pass sounds generous, but the motor does draw a noticeable amount of power. In a tiny apartment office where you're trying to keep the electricity bill low, you might notice a slight bump compared to a low-capacity home model. Who should consider buying this shredder? If you run a home-based consultancy, manage a small team that handles client paperwork, or oversee a volunteer organization that regularly processes donation forms, the Fellows Powershred 485i offers a blend of speed, safety, and capacity that matches the volume you generate. The jam-proof system alone can save you hours of downtime each month. It's also a solid pick for anyone who needs the TAA compliance badge for government.